So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday. It is that time to sit down and answer those important questions and let you guys know my thoughts on the stuff you guys want to know. So we have some Man City against Roma playing in the background. This is a Champions League game that's happening this week. Should be an interesting matchup. It is on Legendary. I'm playing as Roma, and I thought this was a good matchup because it shows you this year that there's a lot more emphasis on the way teams play. Man City start this game off tough. I mean, they're an absolute nightmare for me to try and get the ball, try and maintain possession, but you'll see the game starts to change a little bit as the match progresses. So I thought it was kind of nice, and it's definitely harder this year as well on FIFA 15 away from home. You've seen some of the gameplays they've put out with my Man United career against Burnley, against Leicester City. It was tough, but the home matches were much easier, as you probably would expect. But anyway, into the questions for today. The first one's from Bob. He says, "Hi TTB, do you think Angel Di Maria and Marcos Rojo change United, and what do you think of Rooney being captain? Love the vids, upload more because love your vids." Well, unfortunately I can only do about one a day because it is time consuming, but Di Maria is a fantastic player. I've said this before. Massive signing for Man United, and I think he's got a lot of potential. You know, he's still only, what, 26 years of age? 26 years of age. And he's phenomenal. We've seen some quality goals. He scored last week. A fantastic little chip. But he's going to be a player that everyone's going to want to watch, and hopefully will be a massive player for United. Marcos Rojo, haven't seen too much of him yet. You know, defensively, United are shaky. They still need more players. You know, in January, Louis van Gaal needs to make a couple more signings defensively. Doesn't need any more midfield and forwards. We have too many as it is. But he needs some centre-backs. But I'll give him a little bit of time to gel. You know, he's still a young player. You know, he's got some chemistry with Di Maria, being that they're both Argentinians. So give it a bit of time, and we'll see how he does. And Rooney being captain, I think it was a wise decision. He's a loyal player. He's been there an awful long time. And Vidic leaving, it's given him a chance now to become, you know, a little bit more of a leader. You know, he's a very vocal player. He likes to express his emotions when he plays. So I think rightly so that Rooney's the captain, and look forward to many more games and seasons with him playing. All right, next up from Leon. He says, what PC do you use? Well, I have a laptop, and it's an Asus G550JK, if you want to just Google that. It came out about 2 months ago. Got it from Amazon. Paid about $1,100 for it, which was a reasonable price because it's an i7. It's got 8 gigs of RAM, a NVIDIA, I think G50 GTX graphics card. So, you know, it runs smoothly. No problems playing any games. And I don't play big demanding games. I'll play PES or FIFA on PC maybe. And apart from doing a lot of editing, that's really what I use it. But yeah, that's the laptop that I use. All right, next up from Ryan Payne. Says, "Hi, recently I've discovered your channel and love it." Thank you very much. My questions are, number one, what do you think of the Champions League group draw? Do you think all the English sides can make it through? Well, there's some tough games for the English sides. You know, Man City are coming up against Bayern Munich. They already lost to them away from home, which is always tough when you go to Germany and play. We have Arsenal, who also lost to Dortmund in Germany as well. So, you know, 2 defeats out of 2, but I still think they can qualify. I still think they're better than the rest of the teams. If Arsenal beat Galatasaray this week, you know, they're back on track. I'm sure City will. City have stacked full of quality anyway. You know, Chelsea drew against Schalke. Not really too sure who's even in Chelsea's group, but I'm sure they'll qualify. And Liverpool, apart from Real Madrid, I think they'll get through. Real Madrid will be a tough game for them. But I do think Real Madrid will have a hard time at Anfield. So if Liverpool can get something there, then yeah, I do think all 4 teams can push through. Number 2, what is your all-time favourite PES? I've said this before, probably PES 4, not 4, PES 6, I said. PES 5 and 6, I think they're the ultimate best PESs for me. And finally, have you ever played Football Manager on the PC? Yes, I used to play it all the time, actually, way back in the day when I was living in England, so about, what, 11, 12 years ago now. I used to play quite a bit of Championship Manager, with United, couple of seasons. Used to have good fun with it as well, but, you know, times sort of change and stop really playing it now, and I just play FIFA and PES. But, yeah, Anyone, if any of you guys play it, let me know if you do enjoy it. Alright, next up from FCP Dragon says, hi TTB, what are your thoughts, or what do you think of Man United's loss of 4-0 to MK Dons in Capital One Cup? Keep up the good work. Well, this was quite an old question, like August 31st, but it was, I watched that game and it was embarrassing. I was sort of laughing while they were playing because it was just comical the way they were playing. I mean, Louis van Gaal put out a team which was all over the place. There was no chemistry there. They'd never played together before. A bunch of young players. Wasn't expecting much, but you're playing MK Dons. You're not playing a Premiership side. You're playing someone that you should be winning. You're in the Premiership. Whether you put out a bunch of 19, 20-year-olds or your full-strength side, you should be winning those games. And I'm not sure why Louis van Gaal even put out a side like that. Man United aren't in Champions League this year. They're not playing in Europe. They're only in, or they are now only, in the FA Cup and the League. So he should have put out a full-strength side for the League Cup, gone for the win, and, sorry if my camera's laggy for some reason there, but gone for the win and just continue playing the way they were and progress through the League Cup. But, you know, I know it's the League Cup and players and managers will always tweak it. I know Arsenal already out, Everton are out, so, you know, it's going to be the usual, isn't it? Chelsea and City probably getting to the final. Okay, next up from Ryan, he says, hi TTB, big fan, great videos, keep them coming. Yes, I will. Number one, will you be doing a Become a Legend series for PES 2015? That's a tough one. I don't know, because it depends really on how good the Master League is this year. Is it more extensive? Is it going to be more fun? I know the gameplay is going to be better. Is it going to be more demanding? We'll have to see what happens there. I might do one sort of on camera, off camera, so I'll kind of do one in the background and maybe sort of let you guys know how it's going and do sort of a highlight video. Maybe I'll do that. We'll have to see. But I'm going to do more modes. I'm not just going to do Master League, so I'm sure I'll have a little bit of time. And number two, how can I get the official kits for the Premier League onto my Xbox 360? Well, if you just Google or YouTube, you know, option files, that's what you need. You need an option file for the Xbox 360. I'm not sure how it works. I've never had an Xbox. I'm just not an Xbox kind of guy. I like PlayStation. But it's pretty much the same as the PS3. You just get an option file, install it, all the stuff's already done, and it's done and dusted. So, sorry that's vain or vague, but that's really all I can say. Just Google it. Google is your best friend, as they say. Okay, next up from Mafil Askarov says, hey TTB, I have 3 questions. Number one, who is going to be your favourite player for 2015? I don't know. If I'm going to look for Man United, I'd probably say Di Maria. I'm looking forward to playing with him. As I've said, you know, when I'm playing with Man United on the FIFA 15 career mode, I tend to try and get it to Di Maria. I love to get it with him, dribble around, because he's got such a good touch. And one thing I do like about FIFA this year is the players do play differently than they have over the last years. Last year's it's normally just been probably 3 different types. You've got one, the slow, rugged, boring players with awful touches. You've got your average players, and then you've got your Messis and your Ronaldos that are just speed demons and so quick. This year there seems to be a little bit more of a difference, especially this video with Roma. You know, I could tell the difference between, you know, Gervinho, who was pretty quick, and then De Rossi, who's more of a powerful, you know, central midfielder who just kind of dictates the play. So, you know, I'm looking forward to playing more FIFA. I've enjoyed it, but I think my player to watch for PES 2015, probably Di Maria for Man United anyway. But I do like to play with Ronaldo, Bale, Messi, just to try them out, see them, what they can offer. And number two, who do you think is going to win the Champions League? Well, I sort of answered this before. It could be a variety of teams. Could be Barcelona. They've had a great start to the season. Could be Real Madrid again. They've had a little bit of an topsy-turvy time at the moment. Maybe it could be a Premiership team for once. I don't think it will be, but you never know. But Bayern Munich will be up there as well. So a lot of teams to look for. And number three, how much subscribers do you want? Well, I don't know if there's a limit to how many subscribers someone wants. I want a lot. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. You know, I enjoy doing YouTube videos. I enjoy talking to you guys, communicating. The comments, I always read them. I love them. I see every single comment you guys put out there, good or bad. So I don't want a limit. I just want to keep doing what I can. Like I said, I would love to reach that 100,000 subscribers goal. I've still got 75 odd thousand to go, but at some point, hopefully, we shall get there. Alright, next up from Tennis for the Win. This is quite a long question, or questions, but some pretty interesting ones. Hi TTB, I love your content and love to hear your opinions because they are always genuine and sound. Well, I do try my best. I have 3 questions. Number 1, would you ever consider commentating on a tennis game like Topspin 4 or Grand Slam Tennis 2 for maybe 1 video? And if they did well, perhaps a career mode. I don't know how good I'd be at tennis games. I mean, tennis is very much... They don't commentate on tennis. When you watch tennis, they're silent when the rally's going. As soon as the rally's finished, then you start talking about players and stuff. So I don't know how interesting that would be. I did absolutely love Topspin 4. I loved it. I used to play it all the time. I don't know why they're not making a new one. Hopefully they get one coming out on PS4 and that, because I thoroughly enjoyed playing tennis games. Number 2, have you been watching the US Open this year? And if so, what are your thoughts? Not really. Tennis is something that I like to watch now and then. My dad's more into that side. He always watches Murray, and he's a big fan of Andy Murray. But no, I didn't really watch it this year, unfortunately. Number 3, what are your opinions on transgendered individuals? This is a pretty interesting question. And do you think that if they fit in as their preferred gender, bearing in mind that if you say... Sorry, I've completely missed the question there. Start again. What are your opinions on the transgendered individuals, and do you think that if they fit in with all the requirements handed to them by their sport, they should be allowed to compete as their preferred gender? Okay, thanks and keep up the good work. Greetings from Yorkshire. Well, that's a very interesting question. Nice little goal there from Roma as well. Pinging it around, scoring some nice intricate football. But that is an interesting question. I think transgender, really, for me, if you're born a male, whether you change to female or not, you should still be classed as a male. Because males are they're just different builds to women. You know, when men work out, they build a lot more muscle. You don't get women looking like men bodybuilders because they just don't have the same kind of attributes when they're not born like that. So I think if you're female, you should not be competing, and you change to a male, you shouldn't be competing against males. You've got no chance of winning, really. And if you're born male, you shouldn't be, and you change to female, you shouldn't be going over to females because it's just a bigger disadvantage. So that's my opinions on that matter. Great questions. Alright, next up from Mathis Askarov. He says, hey TTB, quick question. Do you think you're the best YouTuber? And do you work out every day? Well, I mean, I hope my content's good. I'm not going to brag about anything, but I would say this. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that don't really deserve where they've been. Sometimes I look at these channels and I wonder, why are they so popular? But it's just, you know, like PewDiePie. You know, yes, he's got 30-odd million subscribers, but if he came out in this day and age today, he wouldn't get a look in because he does very much the same as everyone else, and that's just the way it is. If you have a look at that Sam Pepper, if you guys have heard the dispute about him, you know, I look at his content. He's got 2.5 million subscribers. Why? To me, he's a little bit of a moron. You know, he acts like a bit of a dick. You know, some of these pranks he does are alright, but some of them are ridiculous. But people like that stuff, you know, so some people deserve a lot more, like Ownage Pranks. If you guys have seen him, he's got 2 million subscribers. He deserves them because what he does is not easy. He does like 8 different voices. He's an entertainer. And then you've got other people that just shouldn't be up there. So that's my thoughts on that one. And do you work out every day? No, I only work out Monday and Thursday, which is... Some people are very surprised when they see, you know, I'm a decently strong lad, and when they see I only work out Monday, Thursday, I guess I just have decent genes. So that's the way that is. There we have it. I've got a couple of minutes, but a couple more questions, or maybe one more. This one from Jordan says, as I am a Dortmund, I guess he's meant fan. As I'm a Dortmund fan, I'm very excited that Shinji Kagawa is coming back. But are you, as a United fan, how do you feel about this move? I think it was probably a smart move for him to go back because he wasn't playing last season, really. Man United have brought in so much talent now in the middle of the park, he wouldn't really get a look in. You know, you've got Di Maria in there, Herrera, Blint, you know, Falcao's come in. So, unfortunately for the likes of Kagawa, never really got a chance, and unfortunately that meant back to Germany. But wish him all the best. Alright, last question. This is from the Den 100. Are you allowed to make money if you are a student? Well, you can work on campus. That pretty much sums it up. And they pay you hardly anything, and it's impossible to get a job there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to have a great Sunday. Submit more questions for next week. And until next time, take care.